Hola, hi. Today I want to make a distinction between being kind and being nice. And I think maybe a nice little mantra could be kind but not always nice, or something like that. I think some of us, those ones who are a little bit more agreeable and like to get on with people and don't like conflict, we have a hard time saying no at times and knowing when not to be nice and to set maybe healthy boundaries. It could be the example that someone is really treating us badly or being very judgmental while we are struggling, like I said yesterday, maybe with a health condition, and where we just have to say, no, don't treat me that way. And in a way, I think sometimes it is really much more difficult to be kind and firm or saying something to someone else where we need to hold them accountable in a way that's not completely nasty, versus just being either a nice person or a completely asshole. Excuse my language. And I think most of us have really a hard time finding an approach where we still feel good about ourselves, in the sense of that we might have had to share an uncommon, an opinion the other person doesn't want to hear, or a truth that's uncomfortable, but still trying to do it in a way that it is not, let's say, unnecessarily painful. Because let's face it, the difficulty is that if we say what we think or set a boundary, the other person might not like it. And we need to find the courage to do it anyway. But I also really don't sign off on this idea. I know many people who just kind of are really mean, and they justify it with, oh, I'm just telling the truth. And I think that is actually something, because I know people like this, that really put other people down and criticize them. And then when you say something, they say, I'm just telling the truth. And there might have been some truth in it, but it often was, actually. But the way they said it was just mean. It's kind of like sitting in the restaurant and the food isn't good, and you giving the waiter, who's just the one who brought the food, a really, really hard time. And I think part of me has been so reluctant about, saying sometimes honestly how things are, because I don't want to be really mean. And so I often have been thinking very much about in what way could I be saying this, that this is still kind. And I don't think we always get it right, and we can't avoid the other person. If it's a trigger point for them, we can't avoid the other person being hurt. But I do think it is possible to be kind and still not abandoning ourselves, to find that way where we say, okay, I need to say this, but I'm still going to try to say it in a way that feels kind, even though it's maybe a tough truth I'm sharing. Yes, so that's my distinction between being kind and being overly nice. I would love to know whether you're struggling with being too nice at times, and do you switch over to being too mean because you're trying so desperately to set a boundary? How are you faring with this issue of being kind but not always nice? I would love to hear from you. This was Anja Kersten, life coach and artist. Take good care. Bye-bye.